Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for more One Punch Man. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here. I was adjusting my camera so it can be, better for stream so you guys can see me more and I'm more centered. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another One Punch Man read-through. Today, we are going to be going through Volume 22 of the series. Now, I know, for some odd reason, YouTube hasn't quite fully updated my thumbnail to where it's supposed to show Volume 22, and it shows it as Volume 21. For some reason, I don't know, I may need to, re-update it. Update it live here on the page so that it doesn't show as Volume 21, because it's not Volume 21, it's Volume 22. I specifically made the thumbnail for it, and it's supposed to be that, so hopefully that's been fixed. Good to see you, King K82 and Ravi. Good to see the both of you. Let me just double check this on the channel real quick to see if it shows Volume 22 properly. It does show Volume 22 properly. All right, I just had to refresh the page. We're good to go. Last we left off in Volume 21, it had a little bit of an emphasis on showing us Child Emperor and him finally finding Waganma, Waganma being Waganma, and expecting special treatment, but Child Emperor ain't having it. He also ran across Phoenix Man, who he killed, and as soon as he got Waganma back, apparently Phoenix Man really does live up to his name, and he resurrected, but he's now more powerful than he was before. At first, he was threat level dragon, I think, and then he turned into threat level demon, which is a higher rank. Think I'm missing that. Resurrected Phoenix Man and Child Emperor. Yeah, I think he was threat level dragon at first, and then he turned into threat level demon, or I think he was demon first, and then he turned dragon after he resurrected. I'm sure I'll be corrected, but now Child Emperor, as he's starting his fight with the resurrected Phoenix Man, he calls upon his last resort, which is basically just a giant mech that he can use as he's starting to fight the resurrected Phoenix Man. So let's go ahead and get started with this page, shall we? Volume 22, Light. And we have here Child Emperor, Resurrected Phoenix Man, Zombie Man, Iaian, Bushy Drill, Okama, Amai Mask, and Saitama and Waganma, who's apparently still hiding underneath that umbrella that Child Emperor showed off. Because a lot of the things that Child Emperor has as weapons and gadgets he can use are patterned off of stuff you would give someone who's in elementary school. You know, pencil cases, umbrellas for kids, and hats, and all sorts of different things, all patterned off of someone who's in elementary school. So he's kind of a bit of a genius that way. A single man arose to face the evil threatening mankind. His name was Saitama. He became a hero for fun. Also, if you guys want to see what I'm seeing, either go to the official Shonen Jump site or the website of your choice, but as I always say, support the official release before I get knee-deep into this story. With one punch, he has been able to defeat most of his opponents. One day, a man named Garo showed up. He admired monsters, so he began hero hunting. Around the same time, monsters calling themselves the Monster Association took a young boy named Waganma hostage and issued a challenge to the Hero Association, entering into a massive battle with them. Class as hero Child Emperor squared off against the monster big shot known as Phoenix Man, overwhelming him with the power of his technology. But Phoenix Man overcame death and evolved. Now finding himself in a tight spot, Child Emperor summons his ultimate weapon, the robot Brave Giant. And in this one, we have 5 chapters and 1 bonus manga at the end. Punch 102, Boy Hero. And it shows in a big double spread panel, Child Emperor inside of his mech, staring down Phoenix Man in the hole that he just made. And then we have Child Emperor here. And mind you, the consistency of this book is a lot more flexible than the ones that I had before. Like, it's very, very, very bendy. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, but I can tell the difference between the consistency of, like, these volumes when they start to get a little bit more flimsy, which is why I got to be more careful. When Child Emperor is inside of his mech, as he goes,
Neural circuit, connect! I was saving this for fighting Orochi the Monster King, but now that Phoenix Man has seen it, I can't let him get away. This time I must defeat him.
And then it shows Waganma being picked up by some mechanical arms that are on the back of Child Emperor's mech, and it gets put inside the mech's backpack. So Waganma's safe in the back there.
Ah! Stay hidden, Waganma. I must get this boy to the surface as soon as possible. I'm gonna end this.
As he prepares to bring up... So, you know the shield he had beforehand. They both, like, did destruct in his hands inside the cockpit. And then they appear on the mech itself. So he's got himself like a sword and shield combo right now. And Phoenix Man just looks silently, and then he goes, "You had a robot costume handy. Running into this kid again after resurrecting must be a sign from God." And then Child Emperor says,
"This is no costume. Brave Giant is a robotic weapon containing all my technological know-how."
And then it shows Phoenix Man as he... starts shaking. As Phoenix Man starts shaking as he goes, "No matter, it changes nothing." And then he just lets out a massive squawk. And then all of a sudden, Child Emperor is teleported outside of his mech into an open field with Phoenix Man somehow. And he's looking real nervously, like he's sweating bullets. And he's going,
"Eh?
I have connected our spirit."
What the? Are my motors malfunctioning? Hey, Giant!
"Your monitors are fine. We are sharing a spiritual space found only inside my costume. I call it Phoenix Space. It bears the imprint of my psyche."
Spiritual space? Did he use a hallucinogen on me?
Long ago, shamans would adorn themselves to summon gods and spirits to inhabit them. That is the origin of costumes. The space inside leads to the spirit world. But that doesn't matter now. I have an offer. I'd like to recruit you. Child Emperor, you have what it takes to become a cool costume monster like me.
A what?
Surely you've noticed, of all the heroes, you hold the most darkness. Indeed. Oh, wait, I skipped a page. But Child Emperor just goes,
"Dude, as if. Are you trying to trick me? I won't fall for such tactics. Besides, most of the Class S heroes are way darker than me."
And then he brings up Metal Knight, who's basically a killer machine, Putty Prisoner, who's an escaped convict, Flashy Flash, who is an assassin, and then you have Tank Top Master and Super Alloy Black Luster, who he describes as inexplicable. And Phoenix Man just goes, "True, but they're not burdened with stress like you are." And then Child Emperor suddenly gets silent.
Stress? Never heard of it.
"Tough talk won't work. I know what's in here." And then it shows him poking the head of Child Emperor. "We are spirits, your swats are futile." And because he's poking his finger through Child Emperor's head. "Child Emperor, I apologize for not understanding sooner. You've been suffering as I have, and it's led you to be mistrustful. You need a comrade you can trust and an organization that values your talents."
Don't listen. He's playing with your mind. You act like you understand me, but it's all about projection, because you're a lone wolf.
Indeed, but why not join hands to create the ideal organization, one that far outclasses the Monster Association? I had to double check and make sure I was unmuted. Don't settle for bird brain humans, no pun intended. Then someday we could reach threat level God. We'll brush aside both human and monster to recreate the world however we please. And then it's just Child Emperor looking so uninterested as he thinks,
This is so untempting.
we have the same spirit. We're as one, and together we could establish an organization of unequaled unity. No dishonesty among members, no suspicion and fear, nothing tearing us apart. And then Child Emperor's eyes get wide. It's only natural for superior individuals to attract, and Watchdog Man will be next to join. And then Phoenix Man grabs Child Emperor's hand. Can you feel how we resonate? Child Emperor, I need your strengths. And then Child Emperor just looks. And then he starts getting shocked as veins in his body starts to change as Phoenix Man is holding him. Allow me to initiate your costume monsterization so you can become stronger and know how to enter this space. And then it just starts to affect Child Emperor all around his body. Now, mind you, we're still inside the spiritual space that Phoenix Man has pulled him into. Monsterize and be reborn as brave giant man! And then we cut back to the present, we cut back to the real world, as Child Emperor brings his fist down on Phoenix Man with extreme force, saying,
Are you kidding? That's stupid! If you don't like the name...
And then it shows Phoenix Man as he's trying his best to resist the fists, as he goes, If you don't like the name, we can change it!
It's not just the name, the whole spiel was stupid!
Mode change! Prominence Hawk mode! And then it shows Phoenix Man has engulfed himself in, I'm guessing, fire? And he starts to forcibly lift Brave Giant's fist off of him.
He's pushing back!
And then it shows Phoenix Man kicking Brave Giant away from him as he goes, back at ya! And then it shows Child Emperor getting knocked away and sent flying into a whole bunch of pillars. Now, mind you, Waganma's still inside of Brave Giant's backpack, so he's getting kind of bounced around in there too. He's going, and then Child Emperor sits up and he goes,
Ow, even his performance parameters changed. Only 3 seconds have passed? Was that space real?
Seems you escaped the Phoenix space through sheer willpower, you stubborn brat. Oh, well, I never really expected a speech to convince you anyway. And it shows Phoenix Man is completely cloaked in this fire, and he looks even more muscular than he did before.
And you think brute force will?
And then it shows Child Emperor getting up. Of course, once you see the astounding strength of the resurrected Phoenix Man costume, you're sure to change your mind. But I had hoped to welcome you unharmed. And then, with stunning speed, Phoenix Man just completely disappears from the front of where Emperor is looking at him, and then proceeds to barrage Emperor suddenly with attacks.
Did he just speed up?
Can your costume sensor still keep up? Phoenix Fire Falcon mode. So now he can shift into different types of bird forms to enhance his overall power and speed. With Phoenix Fire Falcon mode. He's in the Falcon mode right now, and he's swirling all around Child Emperor. I'll remove your armor like peeling an apple. To become a monster, you must face death again and again. Show me your metal! And then it shows Child Emperor pulling out like some sort of energy line between his hands, and it's basically a jump rope. This dude really is a kid. 20,000-fold jump rope grinder.
20,000-fold jump rope grinder!
and it shows Child Emperor inside of his mech jumping rope with this little, well, basically jumping rope with this energy rope, and it causes him to hit Phoenix Man, who gets sent flying into a wall. And then Child Emperor doesn't touch the ground, but he's spinning the rope around his body so fast that it's actually carving out the floor whenever it touches it. And then, using his boosters, he flies straight towards Phoenix Man.
I'm gonna grind you to mincemeat!
And then it shows Child Emperor flying after Phoenix Man, who's trying to fly away from him. And then we get a double spread panel of their flight path as they go in and out of walls at breakneck speeds, all while Phoenix Man is trying to avoid getting grinded up by Child Emperor. Then it shows Phoenix Man flying outside of a hole, flying through a hole with Child Emperor directly behind him. And then it shows Phoenix Man flying as he goes, "Got you! Phoenix flares!" And it's him blasting some flares out of his hands that hit Child Emperor in his hands that causes his rope to suddenly stop.
Ah!
Bullseye! You can't defend against Falcon Mode's omnidirectional attacks! And as he flies towards Child Emperor, he gets caught up in a net suddenly. What? I can't pull away from it! And an electric current is going across this net that he apparently has been caught up in.
This is my irritating electromagnetic shield. I planted several while flying around.
So every single time he was flying around, he was putting up these little barriers just on the hopes that at one of these, he would catch Phoenix Man in it.
Now, accept your fate!
But are you sure you want to lose this chance for a trustworthy comrade? And then Child Emperor looks at him, and then proceeds to just completely body Phoenix Man with,
Ah, shut up!
And then he's surprised to see that Phoenix Man is using his power again. Prominence 10,000 degrees Celsius full power! And he's heating his body up so much that it's actually starting to burn the fist of Brave Giant. And Child Emperor is actually feeling it in his hands. Is it actually linked to his body? I should have realized it when Phoenix Man kicked him away earlier with that Prominence flame body, that Child Emperor's nose was bleeding. I didn't say anything at the time, but I noticed it. So his body is kind of mentally linked to this whole mech, so whatever happens to the mech kind of happens to him as well, because it shows slight burn marks on his actual fist. And he screams out in pain, and then Phoenix Man goes, "Let up or I'll vaporize that fist you're so proud of."
It's too hot!
Water source 50 meters down.
Just what I need! Release power restrictions!
And then it shows the fists of Brave Giant starting to push down on Phoenix Man. Good to see you all, Goddess-san and Abir. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge y'all when y'all came in. And using all his power, Child Emperor starts to force Phoenix Man through the ground. And in the process, and in a double-page panel of pure speed, burrows a hole straight through tons of floors right now.
I'll kick your butt while I cool off in groundwater!
And then it shows Phoenix Man crying out as the monitor on Child Emperor's mech goes, Super degenerate dry battery nearing explosion. Hang in there, Giant! Then it goes back to Child Emperor thinking,
Earlier, just for a moment, did I consider his invitation? I don't want to join the enemy, but...
Child Emperor, I need your strengths.
Despite all my efforts as a hero, has anyone ever spoken to me like that?
And that's the end of Punch 102. Onwards to Punch 103, Light. And then it shows Brave Giant and Phoenix Man falling down into the whirlpool, the waterfall, open canyon area where Tempest Wind and Hellfire Flame were fighting Flashy Flash, and they both just fall into the water. And then it cuts to Saitama. Huh? More rumbling. What even is this place? A monster-infested labyrinth underneath the sewers? Maybe that was a big monster making all that noise. And it just shows dozens upon dozens of dead monsters around Saitama. Aw, man, my clothes are all muddy. Now I gotta wash these. He's not really paying attention to anything. Then a massive explosion happens directly next to Saitama. And it turns out that Saitama was in the rooms underneath this big, massive wow. This Monster Association hideout is massive! I knew I was making a comparison to it being similar to an Umbrella Corporation underground lab, but I didn't think it was going to be this massive. I knew it was big, but not this big. They have a whole section that is just one big massive canyon underground, and then underneath that, they still have more floors. They have a full canyon in the middle of their hideout, and then they got more building underneath. But since Saitama is in some of these rooms, he gets swept up as the water from the canyon, like the big massive lake that's in there, it starts to wash through all the floors of which Saitama is in. And he gets swept up down in there, and so do a whole bunch of other monsters as well. And they basically just get funneled down. They basically just get, for lack of a better word, flushed down this hole, and then water erupts into like this this ruins area where we see Brave Giant come through a wall, and it shows them falling through this mass. This looks like a whole new area. Like how deep is this? How deep is this? Child Emperor slowly getting on your fave list. Hey, he's working it on mine. How deep is this Monster Association hideout? It's massive. But it shows Saitama as he's sliding, and he goes, "Whoa, what's that?" It's like one of those anime robots. I don't think it's a monster, but maybe that's what was rumbling. And then it goes to Child Emperor as he's still beating up on Phoenix Man as he goes, "How about a bath?" And then proceeds to slam him into the water. And then we still got the timer for Child Emperor's mech, which is still going right now.
Brave Giant will soon be inoperative. I need to finish this.
And then he's looking over on one side, and he sees Saitama. Wow. He sees Saitama on the side.
No way! Someone's here?
And then he goes,
That isn't a hero from the attack team. Why is he down here? Did he get lost?
And then he talks to Saitama through his mech.
You! In the yellow! It's dangerous here! Hang on, I'll rescue you!
Huh? I recognize that voice.
Don't wait!
And it's Saitama's all like, "Hey, I recognize that voice." And he just starts waving at him. He's all like, "Hey, dude." I don't even know how to respond to this man when he just does stuff. I don't even know. And I gotta clean the back of this book. Must be clean at all times. I don't even know what to say to Saitama when he's in these situations. He's all like, "Huh? I recognize that voice." And he just starts waving.
Don't wave! Huh? I can't hear what you're saying!
And then Saitama is going... He's going, "The sound...
Your head is bald?
is noisy.
And you're sick of hearing it? You're sick of hearing about it?
So quiet down."
So shut up?
That's not what I said!
How was I supposed to know?
And then it cuts to Phoenix Man, who has changed his form again. "Phoenix Penguin mode!" And Phoenix Man has basically just changed his entire costume into that of a penguin, allowing him to slip away from Child Emperor.
You won't get away!
As it shows that every time that Child Emperor tries to grab him, he literally slips through his fingers. He's too slippery for Child Emperor to hold on to.
So slippery!
And then all of a sudden, Phoenix Man grabs a ginormous ice chunk, and with Phoenix South Pole Iceberg Attack, he slams this iceberg directly into Child Emperor, and it causes them to fall down to the bottom of this area. I don't even know if this is truly the bottom. And then it cuts to Child Emperor as he goes,
Enough with the new forms!
like you can talk. And then both Phoenix Man are looking around. Both Phoenix Man and Child Emperor are looking around because they're in a brand new spot.
What is this place? Are those dead monsters?
How fitting, a graveyard of this place's previous inhabitants. Oh, I recognize these helmets. These are the helmets of the Subterraneans. You know, those same Subterraneans that Saitama originally had a dream about them actually being worthy people that he could fight, but it turned out that they were just massively weak. These are the helmets, like the headpieces of the Subterraneans from way early in the beginning of this story. Well, in the beginning of this series. They're just a whole... Actually, not just the helmets, it's the whole bodies. It's just a bunch of dead Subterraneans down here. How fitting. A graveyard of this place's previous inhabitants.
Why, you...
And it shows Phoenix Man slipping away as Saitama finally comes down and lands. And then Child Emperor takes Waganma out of his backpack, and seeing as how Waganma has been in the back this whole time with no proper seatbelts or anything, he's just been tossed around completely, which causes him to kind of, throw up just a little bit.
I feel sick. Hang in there, Waganma. That man needs rescuing, so let him into the barrier.
Huh? Are you a hero? And then Saitama really just glares at him, and then Waganma goes, well, I won't let you in. It's too cramped. So Waganma, once again proving that I don't like him. I don't like him. Just because he doesn't like the way that Saitama looks, he's just like, yeah, I'm not letting you in. It's too cramped in here, even though more people can fit in there. And then it shows Child Emperor fighting against Phoenix Man as Phoenix Man shoots like some sort of blast out of his mouth in his penguin form, which causes a massive explosion and causes Waganma, still inside of this protective umbrella, to be thrown into the roof and then fall to the ground with a massive knot on the head. That's what you get! That's what you get, boy! That's what you get for being rude! You got a big old knot on your head now! Vindication. I love it. And it shows Saitama going, are you alright? And he's looking around, and Saitama's looking at Phoenix Man and Child Emperor. And then Child Emperor is still fighting Phoenix Man in his penguin mode. As I was about to call him Penguin Man. Phoenix Man goes, resistance is futile.
I have to beat him while I have the chance.
And then he squawks, and then Phoenix Man squawks again, and they're back inside. Instant plot karma for disrespecting protagonist. I hope that big knot on his head stays. But now Child Emperor is back inside of the spiritual space with Phoenix Man. Don't waste your time fighting. You know I'm on another level, right?
This again? Enough already!
Stop whining and look around. I'm trying to tell you something. Doesn't that pile of bodies look odd? And apparently he's showing he opens up like a hole in this spiritual space, and he gets to see he's letting him see the cavern that they just dropped down into, and Child Emperor is like,
They killed each other?
yes, they lacked unity, and that made them weak. Wow, the Subterraneans turned on each other, and what we're looking at is a massive tomb of them all trying to kill each other. There's even big, massive subterraneans that are bigger than the ones that Saitama dropped on when we saw the real ones. There are actually big, muscular-looking subterraneans. They just killed each other. They lacked unity, and that made them weak.
What are you saying?
Both the hero and monster associations could end up like that, because their members have varying interests and philosophies. They aren't nearly as unified as we costume monsters who commune spiritually. Allow me to show you without words. And then Child Emperor is overtaken with this massive feeling as he starts sweating, and he goes,
What did you just show me?
The secret foul deeds of the Hero Association. And then it shows Child Emperor looking like he's about to throw up, as like a sort of corner view of his panel shows like blood trickling down. So I guess the Hero Association is not so good as it appears to be. They got some skeletons in their closet too. Was it too horrific for your childish mind? Investigating, you will soon confirm that you've been nothing but an unwitting accomplice to evil. Well, do you still want to be a hero?
I can't believe it. Were Sitch and Second Galt just using me? What about everyone else? Was I the only one who didn't know?
And then it cuts to Sitch and even Pig God in his mind, going, he's just a child.
Pull yourself together. He's using a psychological attack.
This isn't an attack. It's merely advice from a friend. You don't understand. Monsterization is salvation. He really is trying to appeal to this guy. He really is trying to appeal to Child Emperor. For many years, I was a mascot actor performing as Donkin Bird, and when I got fired, I couldn't bear it. And no one had loved, understood, and devoted himself to Donkin Bird the way I did. So it would have been wrong to remove the costume. But then I monsterized, and no longer could, even if I wanted to. And it shows him wearing the costume, and then all of a sudden it shows that he's pretty much just fused with the costume itself. However, monsterization had imparted me with infinite strength. Donkin Bird had given me freedom. I was overjoyed in the belief that Donkin Bird had recognized my dedication as a costume actor. Do those filthy adults who dress you as a hero recognize your dedication? Did they give you strength and freedom and recognition? And then it just shows that Child Emperor is just thinking about all these things that Phoenix Man is saying to him. And then Phoenix Man, still in his penguin form, still looking massively silly, just pats him on the shoulder with his flipper. I respect you, Child Emperor, as does Brave Giant, who can give you even more strength. Come with me so that together we may seize glory! And then Saitama is suddenly inside of the spiritual space. Oh, Saitama! Saitama is here! And Saitama, standing behind Phoenix Man, goes, monsterizing and being bad isn't glorious. And then both Child Emperor and Phoenix Man just stare at him for a long period of time. What's happening? How did this chrome dome get in here? It's cool. I knocked. What do you mean you knocked? There's a hole. There's a hole in this. What? 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 What do you mean he knocked? I thought this was like a mental space. What? No. Hold up. Okay, This man just said he knocked, and behind him there's a hole inside of the spiritual space that both Phoenix Man and Child Emperor are in. How do you punch through spiritual space? No, we need to know. What's happening? How did this chrome dome get in here? It's cool, I knocked. But this is a spiritual space. You two were whispering, so at first I thought you were talking about my head. A complex? Then I heard what you were saying, and to a child, you should be ashamed. You're free to do whatever you want. Of course, I'll beat you up if it's evil. But don't drag a kid into it. And he's like talking down to Phoenix Man. Is that a mascot costume too? I doubt it, but... Were you the one making that racket earlier? This man is a total mystery. People live here, you know, and he's very, very intimidating. And then it shows him, like, being scared of Saitama. And then it cuts back to the regular space again. And it shows everyone is just standing there now. Oh, I'm back.
Huh? What do you mean?
Says Waganma. That guy could get dangerous if he's angry, so I better keep an eye on him. And then someone calls in to Child Emperor. Child Emperor, can you hear me?
Zombie Man?
I ran into some robots but managed to defeat them. You were right about their design weakness. You said you suspected they'd have weapons running Metal Knight's tech.
Oh, that info came in handy?
I'm sorry the adults are always relying on you. On behalf of all of us, let me just say, thank you. We couldn't do it without you. So it shows Zombie Man has taken down one of these big, massive mechs that have designs that are pretty much based off of Metal Knight. And now, wow, I actually like this chapter because Child Emperor is finally getting the recognition that he deserves. All this time, no one truly appreciates. Until this one moment, no one truly said anything to Child Emperor to make him feel good about what he's doing as a hero. No congratulations, nothing like that. But Zombie Man is the one who shows up. Not shows up, but the one who pipes up and says, on behalf of all of us, let me just say thank you. We couldn't do it without you. This is all he needed. Wow, this was so good. But Zombie Man looks cool. Since the dude can't die, he's just covered in blood, but he's fine. And then Child Emperor just starts tearing up, and Zombie Man continues, as apparently his wounds start healing, because he's not as covered in blood as he was in the next panel. Even one of his eyes was closed, but now he's starting to heal up automatically. Wow, he's regenerating through these panels. I never would have paid attention to that had I not noticed, but he's regenerating between these panels. If we make it out alive, I'll treat you to a milkshake. Everything okay by you? And Child Emperor is just tearing up because this is the first time someone is actually thanking him for what he's doing. Someone's actually appreciating him for what he's doing. And he's tearing up and he goes,
Of course. No problems at all. Be careful out there, Zombie Man.
I will.
The situation here is under control. I'm fine now.
As it shows Child Emperor now having new resolve, as Saitama's looking back like, good on you, kid. And he's just kind of smiling at him. And then Phoenix Man says something that looks like... Is this dude speaking in Hebrew? That looks like Hebrew, that looks like the Hebrew language. Or Jewish or Hebrew. But he says, let there be light! And then, as the light shines off of Phoenix Man's body, the bodies of the Subterraneans all suddenly start to get up. And they all, wow, he can, with his light, he was able to resurrect the Subterraneans? Because they all launch towards Child Emperor. With him going, huh? And then Wagama's looking, and he goes, zombies! And then Phoenix Man goes, rather appropriate for a phoenix, no? This is dragging on, so I summon reinforcements from the afterlife. Finish them off, zombies! And then the Subterraneans start trying to, wrestle with Child Emperor.
He can control dead bodies?
Now, do you fear me? Well, it's too late. They absolutely love to eat brains, to crack craniums and gobble what's inside.
As it shows, even the bodies of so the bodies of Hellfire Flame and Tempest Wind ended up down there too, because they're latching on to Child Emperor as well. And they're trying to rip into him. And he's screaming because this is like a haptic feedback on his body, so he's feeling all this damage being done to his body.
Maybe they'll break you before you shut down. It's time to make a choice.
And Phoenix Man is holding a monster cell in his hands.
Accept monsterization, for it is salvation, a healing of the human condition.
And he just drops it on the mech as it starts to ooze through the cracks of the mech.
So eat this and become a proud monster.
And it literally moves on its own accord and shapeshifts so it can seep through the cracks of his mech to get inside the cockpit where Child Emperor is at. And he's doing his best to kind of move his face away from it. Child Emperor! And then it shows Wagama going, Child Emperor! And then it shows the zombies coming up behind Waganma, which all get instantly killed and punched away by Saitama, who's standing next to him. Woohoo! Yes! He just hits them one time, and their heads just explode and hit the ground. And then Wagama goes, huh? What the heck? Those zombies must be wimpy. What's going on? And then it shows more zombies bearing down on Child Emperor as Saitama looks on, as Child Emperor is doing his very best to resist having the monster cell get to his mouth because it's getting ever closer to his mouth. Then Saitama starts to walk past Waganma. Ooh! Ooh! I'm sorry. It's just the moment Saitama it starts to have this slightly serious look on his face, and he just walks past Waganma, and Waganma's looking on. And then it shows, Phoenix Man standing on top of Child Emperor as Child Emperor goes,
It's been fun, chicken dude, but you're all wrong.
As it shows him spitting out the monster cell.
Heroism isn't a costume. It's what's inside.
And then both Saitama and Phoenix Man look on.
Monsterization is just borrowing superficial strength. It's a costume that controls you. I want to be a better kind of hero.
And the person that comes to mind when it comes to a better type of hero is Zombie Man.
You refuse, huh? Too bad. I offered help and you spat on me. Let's see how long it takes for that ego to disappear as my zombies slurp your brains.
And then it cuts to Child Emperor as he goes,
Hey, Baldy, don't let Waganma see this. Maximum power. Goodbye, brave giant.
And then it shows all the power that Brave Giant has. It starts to just completely emanate from him, causing it to electrify all the zombie bodies that are on him, including the zombified bodies of Hellish Flame and Tempest Wind. And it even causes Phoenix Man to kind of brace his hands up in front of his face because it's just so blinding. And then there's just an explosion that happens. And then Waganma goes, the robot broke apart! And then in one of these pieces, it shows Child Emperor directly on top, directly over Phoenix Man as a piece of his mech is flying past him. And Phoenix Man sees this and he tries to swipe in the direction. He tries to swipe in the direction of Child Emperor, but but Saitama is right behind him. And before Phoenix Man can do anything, Saitama just grabs him. Saitama just grabs him by the hand, by his fingers. He completely keeps Phoenix Man from even moving his arm. Child Emperor got the Killua look right now? Yes, he does. This is such Killua right now. And then it shows that piece that Child Emperor was in hitting Phoenix Man. And then all of a sudden, all the pieces are all around Phoenix Man, including the destroyed bodies of the zombies. And Wagon was looking like,
Whoa, the zombies! The bird monster is just fine, but the robot's in pieces. Now what?
And then Saitama is back behind Waganma. Back behind Waganma again. Don't worry. That kid's strong on the inside. And then it just shows Child Emperor in his regular clothes again, just standing in front of Phoenix Man. I love this chapter. I love this chapter right now. This is such great character development for Child Emperor.
You removed your costume before it shut down. Sad to see a genius Rugrat get so desperate. But can you really win like this?
We'll see. You rely too much on your exterior.
Fool! I doubt you could even scratch my eyeball.
And then all of a sudden, Phoenix Man twitches. Like there's a twitch. And then all of a sudden, Phoenix Man starts laughing wildly for some odd reason.
What did you?
I deployed Tickle Bug number 3. It slipped into your costume through the hood.
Oh, wow. This boy put a tickling robot inside of Phoenix Man's costume. And since your boy can't take off his costume, that thing's just in there.
Why are you?
And he's doing his best to take off his costume, but it won't help. It's like getting a big beetle inside of your clothes, but you can't take your clothes off. So it's just crawling around in there, and you can do nothing about it. And he starts rolling around laughing.
If your costume tickles that much, then just take it off. Otherwise, my tickle bug will keep crawling around until you die of laughter.
And then Wagan was just looking on as he goes, "That's cruel."
Take off my costume? Never! Duncan Bird is my soul, my existence. I'll never do it.
Stubborn, huh?
Duncan Bird will live forever.
And then his body completely cracks and there's an explosion. He explodes. And then Wagama goes,
He exploded from laughing too much.
"Is that possible?" goes Saitama. And then as the smoke clears, Phoenix Man's form has completely changed. Threat level, less than wolf, chick man. Wow, this dude really does transform like Baron Tamago from One Piece. Except he regressed. He's now chick man. And he's shrunken down to the size of a chick now. And then Waganma, who's outside of his barrier now, goes,
Look, he's shrunk. I'm gonna stop him.
Okay, that's actually okay from Waganma. And then Child Emperor is now tired, and he goes,
Phew.
and he starts to stagger.
That was close.
And then he starts to fall, but Saitama catches him. "Steady there. That was awesome. For a kid, you're quite the hero."
Thanks. Hey, it's you, the ball cape, the Class B hero who was with Demon Cyborg.
Just call me Saitama.
But why? No one told Demon Cyborg's group about today's operation. So why is his sidekick here? Could it be he's an enemy spy?
And then it shows someone kicking Chick Man. And to the shock of Waganma and me, Tempest Wind and Hellish Flame are alive again. What happened? We were fighting Flash and then woke up here.
Yeah, and he got away.
And Wagama screams, "Yikes, more scary guys! Are they human?" Hey, that's the class as Hero Child Emperor. You look beat up. Excellent. You can be our bait for Flash. And before Blizzard and before Tempest and before Wind and Flame can do anything to Child Emperor, Saitama just walks up and punches the both of them at the exact same time. Come on now, let him rest. And he just punches them away. He instantly beats them.
They're worth a special class as bounty? They must have been in the Monster Association. Major points, mister.
Seriously? Do I get money?
It's yakiniku time.
As Saitama was just thinking about food. And then Wagama goes,
He did it in one punch, so I bet they were weak. Yeah, from that electric shock earlier.
oh, they don't know how strong these two actually are.
Why are you here, Mr. Saitama? Oh, because of the noise?
Yeah, this is my neighborhood.
Wow, what an obvious lie.
Wow, Child Emperor doesn't know that Saitama actually lives here.
Wow, what an obvious lie. He doesn't look like a bad person, but I can't let anything disrupt the operation. Anyway, it's dangerous here. I'm taking this boy to the surface, so please come with me.
Yeah, you're in bad shape. Okay. And then a body drops down.
Huh?
Who is it now? Goes Waganma. And it's one of his underdog men.
Underdog man!
And then Underdog Man starts looking him on the face as he goes,
How did you find me? Oh, you followed my scent? We're way off the map, but his sense of smell will lead us back.
and then it shows Underdog Man being very happy to see Child Emperor. And Saitama goes, he seems happy to help.
Underdog man. Sorry for calling you an underdog.
Dogs are so nice. And it's just Saitama just chilling as this conversation's going on.
Hold on to your back.
He's in bad shape too. Can he carry us? He won't shock us, will he? Goes Waganma.
He's just a robot I made, but his presence is reassuring. He's gonna jump. Don't bite your tongue.
Okay.
Ready, set.
And then all of a sudden, Saitama uses his strength in order for it. Saitama uses his strength to actually help Underdog Man jump all the way out of the hole. And they go with such force that Child Emperor and Wargama are all like, wow, we're moving!
Yikes! Wow, Dog Man! Did I program you like that?
And then Saitama's looking back and he goes, huh? As it shows Orochi coming after him! Saitama looks back and the heads of Orochi's body just come through one of the holes. And Saitama, while they're still going, punches the heads off of Orochi's little Hydra heads and destroys them instantly. Without even actually causing Child Emperor to really notice, he goes,
Huh? Did something happen?
nah, just look ahead. And they keep going because they end up hitting a wall, and then they start crawling up there. They start crawling up the wall, and then Saitama's thinking, something big is back there. Is that what's causing the noise? And then it cuts to Child Emperor as he goes,
I forgot to ask you, were you the only prisoner here?
and then it cuts to Waganma thinking of Tario, and he goes, if I tell him about that boy, he'll want to go look for him. Yeah, I think so. Once again, reaffirming my utter disdain for this child. You selfish little rugrat! I'm sorry, it's just... this boy, at every turn, just keeps giving me more and more reasons to dislike him. I don't like Waganma. I don't like Waganma, okay? Sorry, I was just looking at my expression in the playback, but I really don't like Waganma. If if I tell him about that boy, he'll want to go look for him. Yeah, I think so. And then Child Emperor goes,
Great, then let's get out of here.
and that's the end of Punch 103. Onwards to Punch 104. Hold on. Hold on. Saitama notices, or he just looking? I think he noticed. Saitama has very good spatial awareness when it comes to dangerous stuff. Now, hold on. I'm trying to find... Okay, so that was... Okay, so Punch 103 was light. Okay, good. Punch 104, Undying Dirty Fight. And we cut to Zombie Man. How many have I killed now? I thought Child Emperor said he spread out our invasion to divide up the enemy. And then it shows Zombie Man with his axe just chopping up monsters with like a fireman's axe. And then monsters are looking and they notice. And then Zombie Man is coming out of the shadows as he goes, "What's up?" And he tosses a fuse box in the direction of one monster, and then he shoots. And the bullets just absolutely, oh, this must be what happened before Zombie Man said thank you to Child Emperor. He shoots, and the bullets just completely obliterate the bodies of the monsters. Resident Evil vibes? Yeah, this gives me massive Resident Evil vibes. Dark hallway, monsters in the hallway, dimly lit, melee weapons and guns and everything in a spooky underground facility. Yeah, this is Resident Evil. Zombie Man then gets skewered a couple of times through his arms by one monster as the monster goes, "Are you Zombie Man? Then die already!" And then Zombie Man pretty much has another gun appear out of his available hand, because he has like a sleeve that causes an extra gun to come out of the sleeve, like an automatic gun sleeve. Gun sleeve. I'm coining that phrase. He's got a gun sleeve, and he then shoots in the direction of the monster that kind of pierced through his hands, and he just shoots at all the pieces. Then he stomps down in order to rip the tentacles that are sticking in his arms. This is too much work for me. I wasn't grunting. That was him doing that as he was ripping the tentacles out. My specialties are espionage, intelligence, and investigating contaminated areas. I'm not good at fighting. And then it just shows him. Then it just shows him like shaking his arm free and shaking the blood away. I'm not good at fighting. And then the monsters are going,
He's bleeding! He's bleeding!
Let's finish him!
Just try it. And then it shows in this panel a big massive pillar with Zombie Man on one side and the monsters on the other. And then there's a spray of blood that comes out of both sides, but Zombie Man is the only one who walks out of the other side of the pillar. You don't see the monsters. Ooh. And he's coughing and he's covered in blood as he goes, this is bone-breaking labor. As he's walking away from the massively mutilated bodies of the monsters he just killed with an axe. This is bone-breaking labor, literally. And then he walks forward, and then he sees more monsters. And one monster with big eyes goes,
"You aren't human. Your life force is abnormal. You're a real zombie." And that's good. Maybe you can kill that guy. Come.
And then Zombie Man is just looking and he goes, "All right, doesn't look like I got any other choice." And then he walks forward as other monsters are just letting him pass.
There's an opponent beyond those doors.
We don't stand a chance, so go beat him!
And the monsters are eerily smiling and just watching him go through these doors. What's through here, huh? Probably nothing good. And he opens it and it's a very dark room. And then a voice calls up to him from up top the roof. It's the vampire monster that we saw like a volume back. Or 2 volumes. I grew tired of waiting, hero. Is that a bat? And then he floats down. And then the same vampire dude in a double spread panel floats down, and you get like a big view of his massive wings and his cloak, and he causes a big torrent of wind to just whip up through the whole area. And they both stare each other down. The zombie versus the vampire. And then the vampire dude just grins at him with a mouthful of fangs. And then all the other monsters start pouring in because they want to watch this fight.
Kill each other! Fight! Good luck, Mr. Hero!
It's a death match.
But don't finish too fast! Watching will be fun! We'll pick up your bones!
But I get to gobble his guts.
Oh my goodness, this would be so cool and animated. This whole interaction between Zombie Man and the vampire guy. I forget his name, but then it shows monsters locking the door behind Zombie Man for this fight to take place. Never thought you'd see a zombie versus a vampire? Neither did I, Ogata-san. We are so used to the concept of zombies always being the cannon fodder, never being something that's on par with vampires. We've seen vampires versus vampires. We've seen vampires versus werewolves, but never a zombie versus vampire because they're just they've never been that far on the food chain when it comes to monsters. This is the first time I'm seeing a zombie versus vampire fight in a legit sense. This is a first, and I'm here for it. But the monsters close the door behind Zombie Man as they go,
now no one can butt in.
And Zombie Man goes, "These slobs want you to die? Did you have a falling out? You're all the same. You're all the same scum. So get along." "Why are they messing with you?" "They're jealous. The incompetent often make such mistakes. They think petty tricks can raise them to my level." That's a Class S hero That's a Class S hero. That's Monsters going. That's Monsters saying that. Monsters are going,
"That's a Class S hero with mega combat skills. And that's a vampire who feeds on other monsters. So no matter who dies, we win!"
It's a death match between two tough opponents. After the fight, the survival will be wounded. We'll surround him and rip him to bits. But first, you gotta start fighting. Show us your stuff.
And then the vampire goes, "Never mind their chatter. I shall eradicate them later. You are a Class S hero, correct? What is your hero name?" And then Zombie Man doesn't answer him. And then the vampire dude goes, "Apparently you lack manners. Name yourself." "Oh, sorry, I forgot to say. I am
this kind of guy."
And then in an instant, he tries to shoot where the vampire guy is. And then the vampire comes and bites Zombie Man in the neck. And then the monsters start seeing this fight happen as he goes,
"They both launched attacks, but was vampire faster? This is cool!"
And then the vampire starts to cough up the blood as he tosses away Zombie Man as he goes,
"This blood is the worst I've ever tasted. I shouldn't have drunk this."
Hey, what the? Is the hero dead already? He was awfully weak for Class S, and he didn't wear down vampire at all.
Then, as Zombie Man is lying down, he lifts his legs up, and then he props himself up. Like he just, you know how you see it in movies, where people get up off the ground by making them stand up feet first, and then they drag the rest of their body off of the ground? Zombie Man does that. He literally gets up like a zombie, and the monsters go,
"He's getting back up! Didn't you drink all of his blood? This is awesome!"
And then it shows Zombie Man getting back into place, and he starts to dangle a little bit as blood is dripping from his body. And then the vampire goes, "You summon your last strength to stand, huh? Unfortunately, your dedication to justice will go unrewarded. Allow me to inform you that the only true monster in the Monster Association is me, The supernatural blood of generations of vampires flows through my veins. Can't you see the difference? And then it shows Zombie Man as he changes out his magazines. And he moves at such a speed. He reloads his gun at such a speed that while the empty magazines are falling, he shoots out the magazines from his hip, and he manages to reload them before the other magazines hit the ground. This is a super fast zombie. I think that is the worst fear out of any sort of zombie genre, is when there's a super fast zombie. He's like Abel Nitro from Trinity Blood, but that guy feeds off of other zombies. Kinda, a little bit. But after he reloads his gun, Zombie Man goes, try sucking on these. And then, in a massive blast, like a blast big enough to even eclipse the size of Zombie Man, from both of his guns, he basically just fires a massive, I'm a firing my laser, just at the vampire. And the vampire does his best to jump away from it. Sorry to be cliche, but I caught all your bullets. And then Zombie Man, with both his dual pistols, just stands there. And then Vampire just goes, now take them back. And then he proceeds to fling both of Zombie Man's bullets back at him, causing him to shoot a massive hole through his chest and also bring up a massive hole through his face. He literally blew out Zombie Man's face. Just a hole through the center of where his right eye is, and you even see his brains getting blown out of the back of him. And then Vampire goes, what an overwhelming victory. Applause, please. And then there's silence from the monsters as he goes, no reaction? Where are your manners? As Zombie Man stands right back up again. And you see the shadow of Zombie Man as you see the holes in his face, the hole in his chest. And then Vampire just goes, what? You shouldn't be standing. Those bullets pierced your organs and splattered your brains. And before that, my fangs mauled your carotid artery. I couldn't even say that to save my life. I'm sorry. And before that, my fangs mauled your carotid artery. Has your bleeding stopped? Wait, I once heard about an undying hero. Ah, I see. These cretins are sham monsters. And you're a sham human. As it shows Zombie Man fully regenerating, like the hole that was in his head. You even see the back of his head, and it's actually blown out, like it's hollowed out. That's how much of a forceful blow the vampire shot his bullet back through him. It blew out the back of his head. But it shows Zombie Man's whole head starting to regenerate from the hole all the way up to the inside of his brain. And as the vampire says, ah, I see. These cretins are sham monsters, and you're a sham human. And then Zombie Man glares as he goes, shut up. And then Zombie Man's muscles clench, and then he takes out dual swords from the back of his jacket, and he starts swirling around, and he starts actually trying to hit the vampire as the vampire goes, but you should be proud of your regenerative ability. And it shows him, the vampire, clashing with Zombie Man, but it doesn't do anything as it shows the blade get very close to hitting the vampire. Compared to those other filthy shams, at least you are entertaining! And it shows him kicking Zombie Man hard enough to basically twist his whole head around 180 degrees.
Whoa! His neck snapped!
But even though his neck is snapped, Zombie Man still takes hold of one of his guns, and with his head being turned completely backwards, still fires in the same direction as the vampire. I can't remember if this guy's name is Vlad or whatever. And he winds up putting a hole through the vampire. He actually lands the first blow that causes the vampire to want to regenerate. And it shows like a big, fat, bubbly, jello-looking monster as it goes, he got you for sure the first time. It's a counterattack! And then the vampire grabs his head and rips his whole body in half as he lets the monster blood shower over him. Hold on. The vampire allows himself to be showered in the blood from this monster, and then the hole that's in his chest starts to swirl around and starts to fill up again and starts to regenerate. Don't think you're the only one with super healing. And then it cuts to Zombie Man popping his neck back to where it's supposed to be. Not only that, but apparently Zombie Man's arm was completely broken, and then his whole body just pops back to where it was. His head comes back to where it needs to be as the vampire goes, "You are inferior, unable to do anything without weapons. So don't get cocky!" As his body starts to turn into bats. And it starts to swirl around Zombie Man.
He caught you off guard! Take that!
As it shows Zombie Man's whole body getting slashed through repeatedly by these razor-sharp bats. You see Zombie Man have a whole bunch of holes put through his body. You see his eye fly out of his face. And then the bat starts swirling around. And it starts attacking the other monsters as the vampire starts draining all the other monsters of blood.
Get back! He'll suck us dry!
3 drinks and I'm as good as new. Fortunately, I had a blood supply nearby. But how about you? Do you look like more of a do you look more like a zombie now? And then it shows one of the bats that managed to get trapped inside of Zombie Man's shoulder as his body starts to regenerate and starts to trap one of his bats inside. He's already regenerating, and he winds up trapping one of the bats that was part of this vampire inside. It starts to regenerate over this bat. And then Zombie Man is just standing there, still good as new, as he goes, And then the vampire is just looking at Zombie Man as Zombie Man goes, "I hate exertion, but there's no choice. Hey, vampire, prepare yourself for a long fight." And then it just shows in this big panel that Zombie Man has this crazed look on his eye, and he's holding his axe, and then it just cuts to black on the next page. And then it just shows the monsters as they have tons of blood all over their faces. And it cuts to narration that goes 30 minutes later. And it shows Zombie Man standing there in front of a whole bunch of other monsters as he's standing over the completely obliterated and dismembered body of the vampire he was fighting. I killed you over and over. You should be dead. You beat me about 200 times, but the final victory is mine. It's been a while since I fought such a tough monster. Whew, I'm tired.
The zombie beat the vampire! He ain't moving! He's dead! There were other ways to win! What a dumbhead!
And then it shows Zombie Man as he's doing his best to... He's just staggering because he's tired as he goes to move the door. Goes to move the lock on the door so he can get out, and then one monster goes,
"He said he's tired."
And then the monsters start smiling because they think they're going to be able to take him on. But remember, I think this is the chapter 2 before he speaks to Child Emperor. And last time I saw Zombie Man, he was not surrounded by bodies of monsters, but like a big Metal Knight type mech.
Going somewhere? Sorry, but no breaks. You gotta fight all of us.
And all the monsters just start laughing. And then it cuts to Zombie Man as apparently Ooh. Oh my goodness. Hold up. Zombie Man was not pulling on the bar to open it. He was pulling on it and gripping it so he could twist the bars so that the monsters couldn't get out. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Yo! I love this dude! And it shows Zombie Man creaking and grinding the bars so that he can lock the doors back. And he goes, I only count about 30 of you, so why would I run away? And he's holding his sword and battle axe and his axe in his hand. And it cuts to monsters going,
Is he serious? What a moron! You can't drag out a fight against large numbers.
We'll hold you down and trash you so fast you can't regenerate.
Yeah, someone charge him! No, you. You do it! Nuh-uh, you!
And then there's sound effects of cuts being made, of dismemberment happening. You don't hear any screams. You just hear sound effects of slashes and people screaming. And then whams, and then whooshes, and then the sounds get quiet. And then there's a panel where there's absolutely nothing. It's just quiet. And then the doors open, and Zombie Man, whose body is massively, cut into, like half of his head is missing. You see inside of his arm. You can see his rib cage underneath his chest, but he's just walking out. And he's so messed up that actually his left arm falls off. He's so messed up that his left arm falls off, and he goes, yeah, this will take a few minutes to heal. Then he just takes a cigarette out. I need a smoke. I want to finish this fast. I don't mind the blood, but I hate to sweat. And then it just shows Zombie Man regenerating all the damage that was done to his body. Just, man, this dude's broken. Oh, and this is when the giant mech that he was sitting on top of before he talked to Child Emperor showed up. As it cuts to, I believe, 2 of them. Yeah, 2 mechs. I thought it was just 1, but it's 2. As it goes, we found an intruder, and they have giant buzzsaws on their hands and spikes on their backs, and they're massive. And Zombie Man is blowing out smoke as he goes, give me a break. What was I just saying? And then he throws his cigarette down, and then it's all quiet. And then it cuts to when he was talking to Child Emperor.
Be careful out there, Zombie Man.
I will.
The situation here is under control. I'm fine now.
Understood. See you on the surface. And then it just shows the mechs after they've been destroyed and completely bodied by Zombie Man. Whew. That kid's all right. And then he gets his jacket back on and he goes, I'm not the only one fighting hard. There. All healed. And then Zombie Man is completely healed once again, though he's probably going to need a new jacket. Now for more violence. Yo, I love this guy. I love Zombie Man. This is such a good chapter. But that's the end of Punch 104. Onwards to Punch 105, On My Mask. And then it cuts to, remember that giant bearded lizard? You want to play him in a game? We need a One Punch Man, either Muso game or action RPG where we get to play as all the Class S heroes. I want a One Punch Man action RPG. Ain't nothing wrong with turn-based. Tired of mobile games. We need a full-fledged action RPG or Muso game of One Punch Man. I want it. I need it. But let's go ahead and keep going with the chapters. But remember the bearded lizard that we came across that wanted to eat Garo and Tario earlier when they were being led through the Monster Association? Well, I think it was just Garo. He shows up and he's standing in front of Pig God.
I've been waiting. You look like quite a mouthful. I'm Big Eater, and you're my next meal. I've got a mega appetite, and I don't leave leftovers. Because I swallow heroes whole!
And then it bears down on Pig God. And then there's just like a massive boom as it cuts to Atomic Samurai's pupils, Okama, Bushidrail, and Iain. As Iain goes, that sounds like quite a fight, but if it's a Class S hero, he'll be fine. Master gave us permission to leave his side, so we must concentrate on our own fight, achieve great feats to reward his faith in us. And as Iain and all the rest of them stand in the hallway, a group of people start to walk towards them, and it's all the people that were turned by Super S. You know, the lady that's dressed, the monster that's dressed in very skimpy Bondism type gear, the female monster that's dressed in very skimpy Bondism type gear. They're the same people that got turned by her. Narinki's group. They're standing in front of Iain and the rest. And Super S is behind them. Those are the fighters Mr. Narinki sent to rescue his son. She has brainwashed them, so don't harm them. And then Okama goes, okay. And then Super S is in the back laughing, going, oh! More careless prey to press into service. Slave away for me. Go, defeat them. As she snaps her whip and causes all the mind-controlled Narinki group members to go rushing towards Iain and starts firing at them because they got guns. Iain sees the bullets, and he slices all through them. A way to stand against firearms? Why? Bullets are slower than your sword. Ooh, a way to stand against firearms? Why? Bullets are slower than your sword. Wow, so the way that Atomic Samurai has taught Iain and all the rest of his pupils is basically bullets are slower than your sword. Why should I teach you a defense against something that's slower than you? Atomic Samurai is just built different. I'm going to teach you. Why do I need to teach you defense against firearms? They're slower than you are. So this is him just putting it into teaching. A way to stand against firearms? Why? Bullets are slower than you are. And then it shows Iain coming up right next to the guy that was firing at him in an instant as he goes, I can go faster. And he slices, and it causes him to slice not only the gun, but pieces of the armor from the mind-controlled Narinki member and slam him into a wall. First, destroy their weapons, then disable their battlesuits. Aim for the joints at their elbows and knees. Roger! And it shows Iain dodging away from the guy who was once, apparently shoved into the wall, and apparently his armor has resealed itself in the places where he sliced into. I guess it's not that easy. Yeah, go! Welcome your new comrades, goes Super S. And Okama goes, that monster has bewitched them. And then it shows Bushidrail defending himself from other members of the Narinki group, and he goes, wake up! Nope, that won't work. And then it shows the other members, the two members of the Narinki group fighting against Bushidrail as they're really bearing down on him, causing the ground underneath them to break from the force of their strength. Their strength is immense. However, and the drill that Bushidrail is using opens up and numerous blades come out through the numerous sections of the drill. And it starts spinning and it destroys their weapons and knocks them away. However, mindless blades are unworthy of fear. And then it shows Okama who's dodging the spears from the two hot girls that were on the back of the last volume. The ones that were in like the battle armor, but they had their bikinis underneath. She's fighting them right now. I forget their names, please forgive me. But they're using their spear and polearm weapons to try and jab at Okama, but she's dodging around them. They may be mindless, but they're strong. Whatever shall I do? How about an attack from beyond their reach? And she slashes, and she literally creates air slashes, like Zoro from One Piece, and hits both of them in the middle of their armor and destroys their weapons, and they fall to the ground. Like that. And then it shows Okama just effortlessly dodging from the other members of the Narinki group. She's incredibly flexible. Like, how do you bend your spine to that degree? Like, I can't bend it too far without thinking that I'm going to risk popping something permanently. But she's just casually bending her whole body back. Okama is super limber. Then all the backs of Iain, Bushidrall, and Okama back up against each other. Their battle suits are illegal and unauthorized, and they have considerable combat skills. Counter their attacks and throw off their rhythm. And then Super S is just in the background, and she goes,
It's so cute how you have so many openings. Now I will seize my first new love slave!
and then it cuts to someone grabbing the whip before it hits Bushidrall. Asami and Noria. Asami and Noria. Thank you, Ogata-san. Okama launches a blade, air slash at both Asami and Noria, and she both downs the both of them, well, in a moment. But before the whip, Super S's whip hits Bushidrall, a hand comes in and catches it.
With his bare hand? What? Who is that man?
Oh, it's a My Mask. A My Mask! She controls them with this like a conductor's baton. I suspect pain-induced hypnosis steals their willpower. You sword fighters are at a disadvantage, so move on and let me handle this. But at this rate, you'll fall to the monsters just as they did. Such failure would bring shame upon you. Such failure would bring shame upon your Master Atomic Samurai.
But you can defeat her alone?
Actually, I have a simple solution. I won't explain, but it's better if you're not here. Anyway, don't worry. She won't enslave me. And then Okama comes up behind Iain and goes,
Have faith in the superstar.
And then Iain says, Very well then, she's yours. And then both the rest of Atomic Samurai's pupils move on without a My Mask, and he stays behind. And they decided to really detail both a My Mask and Super S in these panels. And she goes,
Oh my.
And that is the end of Punch 105. Onwards to Punch 106 and the bonus manga, and then we can call it a session for today. Punch 106, viewer discretion advised. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? It shows Super S standing there with her slaves in front of a My Mask.
You must be crazy to fight alone.
They're too soft for this fight. I can't show them my methods.
Oh, you are cool. I'm thrilled we met.
And it shows her kind of trembling all over, and she's kind of, I don't know if she's feeling on herself, but I think she's getting aroused because it shows her kind of blushing a little bit. Then she looks like she's starting to take out her mask.
Between us, I'm actually a big fan of yours. So how about it? Want to go someplace private and get cozy?
Oh, she's Melina. She's basically Melina from Mortal Kombat, because underneath her mask is like a massively large mouth with fangs and a super long tongue inside that she is not shy about showing off. It's like, yeah. Super S is basically Melina from Mortal Kombat.
But she says, want to go someplace private and get cozy?
And then a My Mask looks like he has veins that pop up on his face, and he just glares at her with a shadow over his eyes.
Then maybe I'd free these studs from my control.
And then a My Mask just walks towards them with like this overwhelming presence that looks like it's emanating from him, and he goes, I don't cut deals. Prepare yourself, you unsightly monstrosity.
That's mean. A My Mask, I'm going to make you mine.
And then it cuts to Iain and the rest of his group running, and Okama goes,
Oh dear, can a hero hurt them?
And Iain goes, I'd like to think not, but I've witnessed his murderousness before. And he remembers back when a My Mask came in and murdered all those aliens that were still alive at the end of Saitama's fight with Boros. He remembers just how ruthless a My Mask was back then. Feels like so long ago when I read through that whole volume. And Bushidrall doesn't say anything, and then Okama goes,
But that was against monsters. This time it's people. They came here to rescue the hostage. Why would he harm them?
And then it shows, and in these panels, it doesn't show anything being said. It just shows Super S launching her slaves at a My Mask, and a My Mask bracing himself, Then more veins appears over his face, and he glares, and bloodshot eyes appears, and then a line appears across the necks of all the members of the Narinki group that are launching at him, and he brings his hand in that same direction. And before Amai Mask can do anything, Ian comes in and actually saves these members of the Narinki group, because with the way that Amai Mask is, he was going to cut their necks off with that hand slice. That line we saw was the path he was going to take his hand in order to slice through their necks completely. But Ian comes in and used the blunt end of his sword to slam Noria and Asami to the side. And then Bushido comes in and launches the two other guys head first into the roof. And then Okama comes in and uses her air slashes to slash the rest of the members of the Narinki group, as it just leaves Super S, and she goes, "What?" And then it shows Amai Mask with blinding speed grabbing Super S's whip, and then with a massive palm, drives her head into a nearby wall with extreme force. And then she just screams out as she gets hit so hard, you see blood come through the cracks from the force of impact. And then it shows the rest of the members of the Narinki group all unconscious, as Super S's head is driven into the wall by Amai Mask. And then Amai Mask, with veins still on his face, goes, "Why did you do that? I told you to leave." And then Ian goes, "It's different on Viz? It's different on Viz? What's different on Viz? It's not like... Wait, what you're seeing and what I'm seeing is completely different? Huh. What's the difference?" "Why did you do that? I told you to leave." "That worked out well, thanks to you engaging the whip lady. Our retreating fake out was a great idea." And then Amai Mask just glares at Ian, and Ian just glares back.
"Enough, Iai. We can't overlook this. Tell us the truth, Amai."
I think there was a redraw of the chapter by Murata. There was a redraw? So what I'm looking at is Amai Mask butchered them? Really?
"Enough, Iai. We can't overlook this. Tell us the truth, Amai. Did you intend to kill them all? The top Class A hero wouldn't do such a thing."
"Kill them all? What do you mean? Have you gone mad?" And then Bushi just looks at him. "What was your intention? You ignored my instructions and interfered with justice. I cannot ignore this merely because my quick thinking resulted in victory. I must report this to the higher-ups. You will be punished." And then Okama goes,
What? How dare you?
"Let it go," goes Ian. "Now isn't the time to fight. Something is clearly wrong. For now, we should keep the peace. We can look into him later. Sorry for the misunderstanding. We have no right to criticize. We're just inexperienced, that's all." Like master, like pupil. I'll take that as a compliment. And then he just glares, continues to glare. Then he continues to glare in that one direction as he thinks, "As long as I am a hero for justice, I must punish all evil and all who commit it. Furthermore, any who aid them are also evil." And it shows Amai as the veins are popping up around his face again and his eyes are getting bloodshot as he's staring in the direction of both the Narinki group and Ian and his team. And then the members of the Narinki group finally wake up. "Heroes!"
They snapped out of it.
"You came to rescue us!" "Yes, you're safe now." "I'm so glad! I thought we were going to die! Thank you so much!" And then it shows Amai Mask looking on. But then, all of a sudden, it shows Super S as she wraps her leg around Amai Mask's face. She contorts her whole leg around Amai Mask's face and arm, and so when he can't move, and then jabs her tongue directly into his eye. "Oh no!"
Took you by surprise.
And then it shows that my mask is fine. His face is cracked from the point of impact of where her tongue was. And it looks like she jabbed directly into his eye, but all it shows is just like a cracked pattern that goes across his face from the point of impact, but he's fine.
You're not human!
As Super S's face gets grabbed by my mask. And then he goes, "Death to all monsters." And I guess with the force of his hand alone, he crushes the face of Super S. He looks menacing? Yes, he does. "Hey, are you okay?" "Perfectly fine. She just grazed me." "Whoa, you're handsome Cayman! On my mask! No way, a total celeb down here?"
Will you take a selfie with me? I just downloaded your new single. Will you sign my shirt?
Goes, who is this? Asami? I think it's Asami. She actually takes off the front part of her armor to show her shirt underneath and is like, "Will you sign my shirt?" I bet you would love that, wouldn't you? You know what? I'm not going to say anything. And one of the other members, I think this is Noria, as she goes,
"Am I dreaming?"
And then my mask goes, "Hey, you guys, I can't leave the battle. Will you take them to the surface?" And then Ian goes, "Yes, you can count on us. We've got a plan." And that's the end of chapter 106. Real quick. You guys said this looked different on Viz. Let me look this up. I got One Punch Man saved here. That was chapter 106. You say it looked different on Viz. No, that is not right. Am I too far? This is weird. On the Viz site, the punches are devised differently. I'm going to get out of this page because I don't want to be spoiled on anything. But the punches that I'm reading, at least the chapters that I'm reading, are a lot different. Are a lot different than the way they got it set up. This is different. Hold up. Yo, what I'm reading is different than what it shows on Viz. Wow. Hold on. Different chapters on Viz. Chapter 101, page 8 and 9. Wow. So, and some pages are similar. Like what I'm looking at with the fight between Child Emperor and Phoenix Man. That's chapter 97. Wow. So, like there's even pages here that aren't even in this volume. Like it shows Flashy Flash walking through the corridor trying his best to find out where he needs to go because he's still lost. And it shows even moments where Child Emperor is inside of the water and then he's underground and you see all the bodies of the dead Subterraneans. Wow. They sometimes have two parts of one chapter. Yeah, I heard there was a part when Monitor redrew some parts of the story, but I don't know when or where it's going to happen, though. That's interesting. I don't mind having the physical volumes, but knowing that these chapters have some different things on them. Like, I'm going to read the rest of the physical volumes I have, but wow, I did not know that. I did not know that some chapters were just fundamentally different. But you said it was chapter 101. Okay, so viewer discretion is advised. Okay, so this is pretty much the same. Except, yeah, y'all are right. Y'all are right. Instead of Ian and his group coming up and saving the Narinki group, a My Mask just basically butchers the entire group. He just slices through all of them with his bare hands. I mean, full-on dismemberment here. Arms gone. Bodies completely bisected. Holes through chests. Decapitations everywhere as he launches at Super S. And then it cuts to actually seeing Super S on her knees saying, like, I will obey you, master, a My Mask. And then a My Mask grabs her face and goes, monsters must die. And then it cuts over to Ian and his group as it shows that Pig God has basically eaten that giant bearded lizard.
What's that? A monster? No, it's Pig God.
What the? It defies physics. How does he digest all that?
I don't know, but I wish I'd never seen it.
Yeah, let's go a different way.
Wow. They're so fundamentally different. Some of these chapters are different, which is why I can't wait to get to actually reading the chapters off of the Viz site, because wow, that is so much different. Let's move on to the bonus manga, and then we'll call it a session here for today. Bonus manga, Coffee, and it's Zombie Man. As a woman goes,
Did you see that man? He looks so pale. Maybe he's anemic. Actually, I think I recognize him. Welcome to our shop.
One coffee, please.
Hey, Mom, that's Zombie Man. Is he famous? Here's your coffee. I want to drink that too. Coffee? But that's for adults. You like sweet drinks, so have a strawberry milkshake instead.
Then it shows Zombie Man dropping some sugar into his coffee.
I'll only have 7 cubes today.
Then it shows him being rung up. As Zombie Man goes,
Hello? A monster using explosives. Clear the area and I'll be right there. No, I don't need a bomb suit. Just bring spare clothes. Boxers, not briefs.
In a dirty fight, he may end up naked.
Thank you for your business.
22 Light End. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Volume 22 of One Punch Man. Y'all know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back through all these chapters that I've read and see if there's actually any major differences than what I'm seeing in these physical volumes. Because for the fact that the volumes, the chapters themselves, to be different on the Viz site versus what I'm reading in this physical volume, it's like I could be missing some other stuff right now. I had no idea. So now I'm wondering, which way are they going to go if they animate this? Are they going to go the route of Ian saving the Narinki group? Or are they going to go the route of a My Mask just basically butchering them? It's like I'm reading two different versions of One Punch Man, so which one do I abide by? I wasn't hoping that I would have to think about this too hard. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for Volume 22, at least of the physical volume, which apparently is different from the Viz online version. So now I just need to I'm second guessing myself and seeing if what I'm reading is official or not. I feel like if it's being released in these physical volumes, I don't know. For one of the past volumes, the end of it was in the middle of one of the chapters. Yeah, the chapters themselves online, as it appears on the Shonen Jump site, appear to be different than how they appear in the actual chapters themselves. Some of these chapters not even being numbered the exact same way that it's numbered in these volumes. Like, I'm in the 100s. I'm in the 100s already, 106, and it's already well past that in the 106 of the Viz site. So we'll just have to see moving forward, but I'll be resorting to the Viz site after I'm done reading that last volume. One more physical volume to go, ladies and gentlemen. I am almost there. But that's all I got for today, so all I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. I gotta go back through these chapters again to make sure that I didn't miss anything important.